top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. AZRUDDIN Mohammed unveils bold plan to revolutionize education, security and agriculture sectors. Mohammed defends a funding plan. Vows zero tolerance on corruption. 2 banks cut ties with May Thomas. JAGDEO says banks severed ties with all sanctioned individuals. And Gecom confirms registration glitch. Police called in. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm ALETHEA Grant with the Thursday, 24th July 2025 edition of the HGP Nightly News. This is what you should know this evening. It was a campaign launched packed with energy, promises and bold declarations as businessman turned political aspirant AZRUDDIN Mohammed officially entered the political arena with his party's manifesto. From tackling national security to transforming education and agriculture, Mohammed said his team is ready to, quote-unquote, deliver a strong future for all. Here is more. With a crowd of supporters, cameras, and a sea of media personnel, AZRUDDIN Mohammed made it official. He's in the race and ready to challenge the status quo. Launching his party's manifesto, Mohammed pledged to build a Guyana that works for everyone. His platform, sweeping reforms aimed at modernizing the country across the board, from schools and policing to agriculture and sports. Backed by his Win Party team, Mohammed rolled out proposals that signal major changes and fast action. On national security, Mohammed briefly touched on plans for a different approach to Guyana's border issues. He promised upgraded equipment for law enforcement, smarter policing strategies, and tighter collaboration with communities. He also emphasized the need for specialized cybercrime units to address emerging threats.
National security is a critical part of our agenda. We will spare no resources in asserting our sovereignty of every inch of the 83,000 square miles with which God has entrusted us as Guyanese. We intend to rebuild public trust through comprehensive police reform and the restoration of law and order. In essence, our vision is to create a prosperous, unified, and safer Guyana, where hope is restored, justice is upheld, the human rights of citizens are respected, and every Guyanese has a seat at the table of progress.
Turning to agriculture, when candidate Vishnu Pandey pointed to the importance of updating Guyana's farming system, he said food security remains a top concern and called for expanding both imports and exports to strengthen the sector's reach.
At the same time, with that vision, we want to ensure that we have the best in terms of our soils and plant hand in hand. In other words, if we know that a particular product will be growing in region 1, why take it to region 10, where we have doubts by virtue of the science of soils and whatever goes with what we call agriculture. So we're taking very important and thoughtful consideration in that aspect. In our vision, we fully believe that once we can produce adequate food in our country, then we will reduce our food importation bill, and by extension, we will create jobs for our young people and people who are very much interested in farming. And we are blessed because the whole of Guyana, we think all our regions, we will find farming taking place in some form or another.
Education was another headline item when candidate Tabitha Sarabo Haley said the current system is failing too many children and pledged sweeping reforms. Her plans include significant increase in salaries for teachers, smart classrooms, and guaranteed access to higher learning in all regions, including the hinterland.
Improving the education that our children receive requires a significant investment from the earliest possible age Evidence and research have shown that 90% of the human brain develops by the age of 5. Without a comprehensive and strategic approach to how we deliver early childhood education, we will continue to grapple with the socio-economic challenges that have been plaguing us for generations. A strong foundation will positively affect all other aspects of the growth and development of our nation's children.
Meanwhile, Mohamed also made significant financial promises aimed at improving the lives of vulnerable households and public service workers. He committed to raising old age pension from 41,000 Guyana dollars to $100,000, increasing the disability allowance from $22,000 to $50,000. A 50% salary increase for public servants, reducing both VAT and income tax, as well as offering housing grants of up to $700,000 for minimum wage earners. As Mohamed puts it, this is about building a future where no one is left behind and where the system finally works for the people. Meanwhile, after unveiling a sweeping set of proposals from tax cuts to wage increases, We Invest in Nationhood Party winner leader AZRUDDIN Mohamed was pressed by members of the media on the big question: how would it all be paid? Let's find out. Facing a full room of reporters, Mohamed insisted that the numbers add up. He said a future WIN government would focus on smart spending, improved revenue collection, and eliminating waste across ministries to free up funds.
Through the 2025 budget, and I saw so much of wasteful spending. For example, $23 billion in medication and drugs, right? That are being dumped. $23 billion in expired drugs. $19.5 billion NDIA in drainage, yet flood. So all these money that are being spent goes behind corruption, wasteful spending and corruption. So we have the money and we will invest the money in the right place.
Mohamed told the press that cutting VAT and income tax does not mean government revenue will collapse. He argued that stimulating the economy through tax relief, better business conditions, and higher disposable incomes will lead to broader tax collection from a growing economy. He also hinted at audits of state agencies and new performance benchmarks to ensure better returns on public investment. According to him, quote, too much of the national budget is spent inefficiently, end of quote. But Mohamed finally addressed the question about his sanctions from the United States and how he plans to maneuver the backlash from possible implications it may have on Guyana.
Presently, when we take office the 2nd of September, the United States of America will work with us. Will work with us. We saw recently what transpired between President Trump and the Syrian president. He lifted all the sanctions, and presently we even congratulated him as a handsome young man.
But the questions did not stop at economics. Reporters also raised concerns about corruption and how his party plans to hold both political and public officials accountable. Mohamed responded bluntly, saying any WIN government will enforce strict, transparent rules and create an independent anti-corruption body. He promised mandatory asset declarations, tougher penalties for misuse of public funds, and a quote-unquote no friend, no favors approach to hiring and procurement. According to General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic Barrett JAGDEO, a sanctioned May Thomas was not spared by local banks, as Travis Chase will explain in this report.
There is word from General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic Barrett JAGDEO that since its executive and former permanent secretary May Thomas was sanctioned by the United States, 2 local banks severed ties with the U.S.-sanctioned Thomas. Mr. JAGDEO was at the time responding to criticisms that it was the PPPC that caused Demerara Bank to cut ties with several members of the WIN political party headed by AZRUDDIN Mohamed.
May Thomas, accounts were closed by Citizen Bank and Republic Bank. That's a fact of the matter.
Mr. JAGDEO said the banks severed ties with all sanctioned individuals because of the dire consequences that could follow.
If they lose two things, access to the SWIFT that allows them to transfer money, or the correspondent, that's a global system, that when the United States wanted to sanction Russia, there was a move to remove them from the SWIFT. It's a code that's used by all banks around the world. Anybody who has to transfer money abroad has to go through that system. If you lose access to correspondent banking relationship with the US, you might as well shut down the bank.
Demerara Bank on Tuesday said it has cut ties with several associates of AZRUDDIN Mohamed's political party because he is an OFAC-sanctioned person. Two of the party members, Natasha Singh Lewis and Dwart Hetzberger, told a news conference Tuesday evening that they received letters from Demerara Bank stating that they have until July 25, 2025 to wrap things up with the bank. Mr. JAGDEO hinted that the PPPC had no influence over the bank's decision.
This bank is close to the People's Progressive Party. That is why the accounts were closed. Then sidetracking. They're good, they're very clever. Look at all the trolls and the people that they put online to defend them. So one, it is, what about May Thomas?
May Thomas was sanctioned because she misused her position to influence the award of official contract bids and the approval processes for weapon permits and passports on behalf of Mohamed's enterprise. It is still unclear if Thomas is still receiving a monthly salary from the government. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Join us after the break. We have more news for you.
Welcome to SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown. Discover solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc., powering your life with elegance, quality, and care.
With 70% ethyl alcohol, Mighty Foam Hand Sanitizer eliminates 99.99% of all germs and even moisturizes in the process, leaving your skin clean and hydrated. Mighty Foam Hand Sanitizer. How do you stay clean?
Election offenses are actions that have been made illegal by law with a view to ensure that the elections are free, fair, and transparent. Some election offenses are voting more than once in the same election, voting or attempting to vote if you are not qualified to do so, voting in the name of another person, canvassing for voters or interfering with an elector within 200 yards of a polling station, removing or defacing a lawfully displayed official electoral notice or election materials, deliberately obstructing or interfering with the work of an election officer. Any person found guilty of an election offense may be fined and imprisoned. For some offenses, a person may be disqualified from voting in future elections. Do not commit election offenses. For more information, contact the Gecom on 225-02779 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Welcome back with the HGP Nightly News. Quote, Guyanese deserve a leader who understands their sufferings and who is willing to take them out of their disposition. End of quote. That is the strong message by presidential candidate for a partnership for national unity, Aubrey Norton, to the electorate. Let's hear more.
A partnership for national unity's APNU presidential candidate Aubrey Norton has urged citizens to critically analyze the policies of all political parties contesting this year's general and regional elections. He posited that Guyanese deserve a leader who genuinely values their interests and who is people-centered.
The elite up there wouldn't know that. They don't know the suffering of the Guyanese people. I don't even believe they walk on the pave one night so that they have to walk over people sleeping on the pave.
Speaking on the program Context, moderated by veteran journalist Enrico Wolford, Mr. Norton cited the callousness of the current regime, to which they are uninterested in alleviating the sufferings of the citizens.
Is that they don't care. They are getting wealthy at the expense of the people, and that is what we have to change.
Despite the country's booming economy, the seasoned politician contends that Guyana is faced with the harsh reality of poverty, which the ALETHEA government has failed to address.
That there's a lot of poverty. A lot of people fall in a political movement because they believe with wealth they can be taken out of poverty. But the truth of the matter is they never care. They will never care. Because for them to exist, they have to get a lot of money, and a lot of it had to come at the expense of the people.
Meanwhile, Dr. Denise Murray, member of the Kingdom Movement, whose party is part of the APNU coalition, said the principles and vision of Mr. Norton, the Prime Ministerial candidate, Director of Finance, and Vice President, Ganesh Mahipal, led her to join this alliance.
This is very diverse. It is made up of women and technocrats like myself, and we are just excited to be a part of the coalition so that we can stand with Mr. Norton, we can stand with Director, and we can stand with Ganesh Mahipal.
Dr. Murray urged the Christian community to vote with conscience and to exercise their democratic right come September 1.
I really want to encourage my brothers and sisters, particularly those in the Christian community, to come out and vote.
Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
An 18-year-old will be charged with murder this week after he shot and killed a 16-year-old girl. The bullet was intended for a rival gang member. Travis Chase reports.
16-year-old Reina De Pisa of East Le Penitence, who was struck by a stray bullet Monday evening just after attending the birthday party of her friend, succumbed to her injuries at the Georgetown Public Hospital Wednesday afternoon. Her family, still outraged by the killing of the child, who just completed her secondary education, is calling on the police to move swiftly to ensure justice is served. Her relative, who prefers her identity withheld, told reporters at the hospital that the outgoing 16-year-old was struck by a stray bullet when this man, 18-year-old Travel Daniels Hamer, opened fire on a rival gang member.
All we want is for the police to do their job and do it thoroughly and properly. So we need justice. That's all we want.
The police reported Thursday morning that Hamer has been arrested. He was arrested on Mandela Avenue in a motor car, which he used on the day of the shooting. Police also searched his home, but no firearm was found.
You guys have never had to share she ran away from home or anything. Reina is an indoor person. She likes to be indoor. Reina was at a party, a birthday party at that. It's not no dance, it's not at no club, nothing. She was at a birthday party when this incident happened. You understand? Reina was the most humblest child you guys can think about. Humble, very loving.
The relative said that the young child was more focused on her education and it's hurting the family because of the manner in which she met her demise.
She want to go outside because I want to do good. I want to focus on my exam. When I'm finished, then anything else could happen. And even when she finished writing exam, that was still her. She's a very, very indoor person, reserved.
The suspect is expected to be charged soon. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned. We have more news for you.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
Real problem, buddy. I want to vote on election day, but I got to work a 12-hour shift every day from Monday to Friday, from 6 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon, boy.
I got the same problem. I registered to vote in Kitty where I live in, and I walk in till up in Linden, and I only get Sunday to go home, and then back again Monday for work.
You know, truly speaking, the hours you work in and the place where you work should not prevent you from voting.
Really? How come?
Listen. The law makes it absolutely clear that employers should give time off to their employees so as to vote. All you have to do is inform your employer that you need time off to exercise your constitutional right to vote.
For real? That's exactly what I can do.
Hey, me too, buddy.
Yeah.
I didn't do that so bad.
For more information, contact the Gecom on 225-02779 or visit www.gecom.org.
Welcome back. You with the HGP Nightly News. The Guyana Elections Commission, Gecom, has confirmed that a registration error was detected during the ongoing public display of the revised list of electors, RLE. This prompted an internal investigation and the police being called in. In a statement issued Thursday, Gecom acknowledged that a quote, irregular registration transaction, end of quote, occurred when a person used the details of a legitimate elector to apply for a replacement ID card and a change of address. The transaction, which violated standard operating procedures, was processed by registration staff without proper verification. The issue came to light during the official 21-day public scrutiny period of the RLE. The Chief Election Officer subsequently ordered the transaction reversed. Gecom confirmed that the unauthorized ID card had not been issued and remains in the Commission's custody. It said the ID card will be destroyed. Gecom publicly acknowledged that 2 erroneous transactions occurred at the same registration office. The Commission assured the affected elector and the public at large that proper procedures, if followed, would have prevented the error. It also reiterated that the revised list of electors remains on public display and urged citizens to verify the accuracy of their information. President Irfan Ali on Wednesday during the opening of the inaugural Global Biodiversity Alliance Summit announced that Guyana's ecosystems generate more than $15.2 billion in economic value annually. Antonia Day has more.
Guyana's ecosystem provides over $15.2 billion per year in ecosystem services. An overwhelming 96% of the value comes from non-market services.
That was Head of State Irfan Ali in his delivered remarks at day one of the inaugural Global Biodiversity Alliance Summit at the Arthur Chung Conference Center, Legendal East Coast of Mararo. Speaking to leaders from the Caribbean and Latin America, President Ali stated that the forests are more valuable when they are preserved than when they are destroyed.
The forests of Guyana, not being cleared, not being sold, not being converted, are providing more economic value by standing than they would if destroyed. This is the very essence of nature-positive economy.
According to the study, genetics resources alone, such as plant compounds with potential medical uses, are valued at $8.4 billion a year, plus an additional $3.6 billion for existence and bequest values, or the amount people are willing to pay to protect the environment. Guyana spearheaded the creation of the Global Biodiversity Alliance, which is based on three principles. Biodiversity is the foundation of life, measuring it is crucial for taking action, and investing in it is a need rather than a luxury. Notably, 15 global leaders and experts on Wednesday signed the Georgian Declaration that seeks to protect 30% of the planet's lands and oceans by 2030 and advance a united vision for biodiversity. I am Antonio D reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
The ambassador for the 30th Conference of the Parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, COP30, has supported Guyana's focus on biodiversity, urging swift action to address nature loss. He praised the inaugural Global Biodiversity Alliance Summit as key for integrating biodiversity with climate action at the 2025 UN Climate Change Conference in Brazil. Antonio Day has more.
Ambassador for the 30th Conference of the Parties to United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, COP30, Andre Correa do Lago, is adamant that the world must ensure biodiversity takes its rightful place at the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Belém, Brazil, as calls for immediate action to address the climate change crisis continue to mount among international leaders. Do Lago, who is the president of COP30, delivered these remarks on day 2 of the Global Biodiversity Summit at the Arthur Chung Conference Center.
We need to advance in carbon accounting, and I'm very glad that there is a strong basis, strong scientific basis to work on that.
Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados also addressed and emphasized that countries cannot save the planet unless they work together to address pollution, climate change, and biodiversity.
You cannot address the issues of saving the planet without addressing the issues of both climate and biodiversity and pollution all at the same time. And to that extent, those of us, therefore, who live this reality in the region have come to understand that while we will argue strongly internationally, we must act even stronger locally.
Prime Minister Mottley also highlighted a recent project that executed in partnership with the Barbados Wetland Trust, which allowed them to revive and reopen the Graham Hall Nature Sanctuary, which was closed for almost 20 years for the benefit of Barbados residents and birds. In this context, the Prime Minister said that Barbados is restoring its remaining wetlands, many of which have been destroyed, and is also creating 2 new organizations to protect biodiversity.
This will allow us to elevate the work that we must do to preserve our coastal areas, one from the erosion of sargassum, which is deadly on our eastern coast, but 2, also from the natural erosion that is taking place as a result of agricultural runoff and other factors.
Ivan Duque Marquez, the former president of the Republic of Colombia, pointed out that the most states face significant challenges, with nearly 70% of the world's wildlife disappearing over the past 50 years. The former president is of the staunch belief that the Global Biodiversity Alliance would present actionable components such as nature-based market-driven solutions.
If there is a global coalition to protect biodiversity with clear KPIs with market-driven nature-based solutions, we definitely need to bring the discussion to the fair carbon pricing so that this becomes a reality.
I'm Antonio De reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for regional news.
Turbo with a new look, new style, with the same great taste in the 250 ml can. Everybody run out now. Go and go grab one. Me charge up with a turbo 250 ml at your favorite spot. Wait, sell. New look, new can, same vibes. Jinxing, energize up your life. Vibes up, work time, anytime we are turn up the party with turbo can. Turbo can, turbo can, turbo can. Now available in the new 250 ml can. Turbo energy drink. Charge up today.
You never vote neither, so you don't know if anybody gonna know which party you vote for.
Not because I never vote. I know that when I vote, nobody can see which party I voting for.
Why should I believe you? You.
Let me help you with something, young man. The young lady is correct. The freedom to vote for a political party of your own choice on election day is yours. Nobody will know which political party you voted for. Once you would have marked your ballot paper and folded it as directed, nobody will see which political party you would have voted for after you would have placed your ballot paper in the ballot box. You're guaranteed that your vote will remain a secret.
Oh, thanks, big man. For sure, I'm going to vote on election day in order to feel confident that nobody will know which party I'm going to vote for.
For more information, contact the Gecom on 225-027729 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Friend, hi, give me a minute now. I want you to clear something up for me.
Okay. What is it, ma'am? Why you look so confused?
I hear all this talk about elections and voting, but I really don't understand how this could affect me.
All right, it's like this. Once you were registered by Gecom and you were 18 years or older by June 30th, 2025, you are entitled to vote, provided that you are listed in the official list of electors.
Well, I registered and I'm over 18, but how I would know if my name is on the official list of electors?
That's very easy. Gecom is displaying the official list of electors at two popular places in the community where you live. Just go there and check the list. Or you can go to Gecom's website and use the search tool.
Oh, what? Thanks. I'm going and doing it now. Yeah. My name on the list. I definitely voting at elections.
Nice.
For more information, contact the Gecom on 225-027729 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Good evening and welcome to Thursday's edition of the Regional News. I am Antonio De. We begin with news in Grenada. In Grenada, the opposition New National Party opposes legislation to lower age of civil responsibility from 18 to 16, which would allow minors to access sexual and reproductive health treatment without parental permission. The Dickon Mitchell government aims to amend the Age of Civil Legal Responsibility Amendment Act of 2025 to redefine, minister, and lower the consent age for sexual and reproductive health treatment. However, opposition leader Emmeline Pierre stated that the NNP will not support any bill allowing the age for civil legal responsibility to drop from 18 to 16, nor permitting a minister to enable a 12-year-old to make decisions without parental consent. The proposed legislation appears to be an outcome of the Spotlight initiatives, which were launched in 2020 and concluded in November 2023. The focus was the reduction in prevalence and incidence of family violence through a review process. The review led to new legislation or amendments to existing legislation. Under the proposed legislation, a minor aged 16 or older can consent to any sexual or reproductive health treatment, including diagnostics, with their consent, as effective as if they were of full age. The bill defines sexual and reproductive health treatment as medical, surgical, or counseling services that support an individual's sexual and reproductive health, including access to contraceptives and diagnosis, treatment and prevention of STIs, including HIV/AIDS. It also provides for sexual health education, risk assessment, and counseling. Over to news in Haiti. The Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs reported that the escalating violence and displacement are driving severe humanitarian needs in Haiti. UN spokesman Stéphane Dujarric stated that over 217,000 children have been screened for acute malnutrition this year, with more than 21,500 admitted for severe treatment, representing 17% of the projected 129,000 children needing life-saving care. According to the Integrated Food Security Phase classification, about 5.7 million people, over half of Haiti's population, face acute food insecurity. Additionally, more than 1,600 schools are closed, a significant increase since the year's start. Dujarric emphasized that less than 9% of the $908 million needed for the humanitarian response has been received. And finally, with some international news. The New York Immigration Coalition, NYIC, representing over 200 immigrants and refugee rights groups in New York, has revealed a video showing inhumane conditions at a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Lower Manhattan. Tricia McLaughlin, Assistant Secretary of DHS, stated, and I quote, that 26 Federal Plaza is not a detention center. It is a federal building with an IC office inside. In response, the NYC argued that the video corroborates widespread accounts from individuals inside the facility, stating, and I quote, they are detained there for days and weeks at a time without access to showers, medication, or a change of clothes, forced to sleep on the floor, and provided with minimum food and outside contact. End of quote. Furthermore, Assistant Secretary McLaughlin asserted any claim that there is overcrowding or substandard conditions is categorically false. However, the NYIC contended that the video demonstrates that Caribbean and other immigrants detained on the 10th floor are being held in crowded and unsanitary conditions. Thank you for watching. I am Antonio Day. Goodbye for now.
AZRUDDIN Mohammed unveils bold plan to revolutionize education, security, and agriculture sectors. Mohammed defends funding plan, vows zero tolerance on corruption. 2 banks cut ties with May Thomas. JAGDEO says banks sever ties with all sanctioned individuals. And Gecom confirms registration glitch. Police called in. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm ALETHEA Grant. Thanks for watching.